Honda doesn't advertise this. Some Goldwing years are true 200,000-mile machines that owners refuse to sell. Other years carry hidden risks that can quietly turn a legendary touring bike into a very expensive lesson. After digging through recall history, long-term owner patterns, and generational changes, I'm going to show you the Honda Goldwing years to avoid, and the years that truly last forever. Stay until the end, because as we move on in the video, you will see how Honda learned from its past missteps to turn the Goldwing into the mighty machine we know it to be. The number one on this list is the most dependable used Goldwing you can buy. And even one of the wings from the so-called risky years still sells for premium prices as if there were no problems. Let's start with the Goldwing years to avoid. Number 4. 1985 GL1200. Honda wanted to be first, and in 1985, it made Goldwing buyers pay for it. That year, Honda introduced electronic fuel injection on the GL1200. On paper, it looked like the future. In real life, it was the kind of early tech that turns owners into unpaid testers. This wasn't modern fuel injection that can adapt and correct itself. This was mid-80s EFI with early sensors, basic control logic, and wiring that has 4 decades to age, crack, and corrode. When these systems start drifting, the bike doesn't politely warn you. It starts acting up in ways that waste your time and your money. Rough cold starts, random hesitation, surging that comes and goes. And the worst part is how hard it can be to diagnose. Intermittent problems are where owners get trapped, because you can replace parts all day and still not fix the real cause. Then you run into the electrical load problem. Fully dressed touring bikes already work their charging systems hard. Add EFI, and stator failures become a serious risk. And stator replacement on a GL1200 is not a simple repair. It's labor-heavy, it's time-consuming, and it can turn into a 4-figure bill quickly once a shop starts tearing into it. Now add the parts situation. EFI components for a 1985 touring bike are not sitting on shelves everywhere. If a control unit, sensor, or fuel system component fails, you're often chasing rare parts, paying premium prices for used pieces, or hunting down a specialist who still knows this system. None of this means every 1985 GL1200 is doomed, but it does mean the risk is real. This year represents Honda's learning curve, and if you don't buy the right one with the right history, you're not buying a classic Goldwing, you're buying a problem that knows how to hide. Number 3. 2001 to 2002 GL1800 first-year redesign risk. The 2001 Goldwing wasn't an update. It was a complete reset. Honda scrapped the GL1500 platform and introduced an entirely new 1832cc flat-six engine, an aluminum twin spar frame, revised cooling architecture, new electronics, and new manufacturing processes. When a manufacturer changes that much at once, early production almost always exposes weaknesses. And it did. These early GL1800 model years were affected by a documented frame-related recall involving potential weld cracking in the aluminum structure. On a motorcycle weighing over 800 pounds before luggage and passenger, structural integrity is not optional. If recall work was never performed or performed incorrectly, you are dealing with a repair scenario that can involve major disassembly and inspection. That is not inexpensive labor. But structural risk wasn't the only concern. Owners in early production years also reported overheating complaints, particularly in stop-and-go traffic in hot climates. When a large touring motorcycle runs hotter than intended, cooling fans, sensors, and surrounding components operate under increased stress. Accessing cooling components on a fully faired Goldwing is labor-heavy. Plastic removal alone takes time. Labor hours add up quickly. Electrical refinement was still maturing during these first 2 years. First-generation ECUs and harness layouts often receive quiet revisions in later years. Early adopters absorb those learning curves. This doesn't mean every 2001 or 2002 GL1800 is problematic. It means these years sit in the highest risk window of a total platform overhaul. First-year redesigns carry exposure. New manufacturing methods carry exposure. And structural recalls always carry financial risk. Buy one without documented recall completion and service records, and you are gambling on Honda's early 2000s transition period. This is not where you want to save money. If you've owned one of these early wings, I want to hear about it. Drop the year and what it actually cost you in the comments. The good, the bad, the expensive, all of it. Other riders need to know what they're getting into. Now, let's continue. Number 2. 2004 to 2005 GL1800. By 2004, the Goldwing should have been fully sorted. The redesign shock of 2001 was behind it. The platform had time in the real world. Production should have stabilized. And yet these years carried their own reputation among long-term owners. What makes this stretch frustrating is that the problems weren't dramatic launch failures. They were mechanical stress issues that show up after miles accumulate. Reports during this period frequently centered around excessive heat complaints in certain riding conditions. When a touring motorcycle of this size runs hot in traffic, everything around that engine works harder than it should. Cooling fans cycle more often, sensors live in hotter environments, wiring insulation ages faster. Heat is not just discomfort, it's long-term wear. Then there's the final drive. The GL1800 uses a shaft-driven system designed for longevity, but when the final drive issues surface, repairs are not minor. You're not replacing a chain and sprocket. You're dealing with precision components buried deep in the drivetrain. Labor costs climb quickly, and replacement assemblies are not inexpensive. Add to that the reality that these bikes are heavy, fully dressed, and often ridden 2 up with luggage. That kind of sustained load exposes weaknesses faster. Suspension components fatigue, bearings wear. A touring machine built for distance still suffers if refinement isn't perfect. None of this makes 2004 or 2005 a guaranteed failure. But these years sit in an uncomfortable middle ground. They aren't early redesign risks, yet they don't have the later production polish that followed. When mechanical stress meets high weight and long-distance expectations, repair bills grow quickly. And on a motorcycle this large, nothing is cheap once labor begins. Number 1. 2018 GL 1800. History has a pattern, and 2018 followed it. Honda completely redesigned the Goldwing again. New frame, new front suspension, new electronics suite, ride-by-wire throttle, multiple riding modes, optional DCT transmission, a full technology overhaul. And just like 2001, early adopters absorbed the learning curve. The 2018 model year saw fuel pump-related recall activity that directly affects reliability confidence. When a touring motorcycle has a fuel delivery issue, that is not cosmetic. That's a machine that may not start, or worse, may stall. Then there's complexity. Modern Goldwings rely heavily on electronics. Ride modes, traction control, electronic suspension adjustments, DCT logic, integrated infotainment. When everything works, it's impressive. When something glitches, diagnosis is no longer simple. You're not adjusting carburetors, you're scanning modules. Early production runs are where software refinement happens. Minor issues get corrected quietly in later years. First-year owners don't get the benefit of hindsight, and repair costs reflect modern complexity. Sensors, control units, and integrated systems do not come cheap. Labor rates for electronics diagnosis are not 1995 pricing. None of this means the 2018 Goldwing is doomed. It means it represents the highest modern complexity risk window. First year, full redesign, maximum electronics exposure. If you buy a 2018, documentation matters, software updates matter, recall completion matters. Because when modern touring bikes fail, they don't fail small. Now let me show you the Goldwing years that prove Honda absolutely knows how to build a touring motorcycle that can run for decades. Because when Honda stops experimenting and starts refining, this platform becomes almost impossible to kill. Number 5. 1988 through 2000 GL 1500. The late GL 1500 years are the Goldwings that built the last forever reputation. By this point, Honda had years of real-world data, and the platform was fully sorted. The 1520cc flat 6 in these bikes is not a high-strung engine. It's a low-stress touring motor designed to run smooth, cool, and steady for hours at a time. That matters because engines that don't live on the edge don't wear out fast. They just keep piling on miles. According to long-term owner patterns and mechanic experience, these late GL 1500s routinely hit high mileage with basic maintenance. The formula is simple: conservative power output, strong cooling, and a drivetrain built for touring. The shaft drive is a big part of that. You're not constantly dealing with chain wear, adjustment, and shock loading. You're just riding. And here's the part modern bikes can't copy. These wings don't rely on complex electronics to function. No ride-by-wire, no network of modules that can turn a small issue into a diagnostic nightmare. The systems are straightforward, and that keeps repair costs reasonable even decades later. Part support is still strong because Honda sold a ton of these, and any competent mechanic can work on one. That's a big deal for a touring bike, because a bike that's reliable but impossible to service isn't reliable in the real world. This era is the sweet spot of the GL 1500, proven, refined, and hard to kill. And the next Goldwing years take that same durability mindset and add more power without sacrificing the long-haul reliability. Number 4. 2006 to 2010 GL 1800. This is where the modern Goldwing becomes the safe bet. The early 2001 to 2002 redesign years had the usual first-run risk, but by 2006, Honda had years of real-world miles to learn from. Updates had been rolled in, weak points had been addressed, and the platform finally settled into what it was always supposed to be, a long-distance machine that just works. These GL 1800 years use the 1832cc fuel-injected flat 6, and it's one of the most under-stressed big touring engines ever sold. It makes smooth power without drama, and it spends most of its life loafing at highway speed. That matters because engines that aren't constantly straining don't chew through components. They stay consistent, they stay cool, they keep going. According to owner experience and mechanic consensus, this era is where GL 1800 reliability becomes boring in the best way. The bikes rack up mileage with routine maintenance, not constant troubleshooting. The drivetrain is built for distance, the shaft drive reduces daily wear concerns, and the whole package is designed to carry weight without acting fragile. The other advantage is that these years hit a sweet spot before touring bikes turn into rolling computers. You still get modern fuel injection and comfort, but you don't have the same level of electronic complexity that shows up later. Less complexity means fewer mystery problems and fewer expensive diagnosis sessions. If you want an 1800 wing that feels modern but doesn't feel risky, this is the window most smart buyers aim for. And the next years on this list are even more refined, because Honda kept polishing the same platform until it almost became impossible to argue with. Number 3. 2012 to 2017 GL 1800. By this point, the GL 1800 platform wasn't just refined, it was fully matured. Honda had more than a decade of real-world data behind the 1832cc flat 6, and it shows in these later production years. The engine had proven itself. The cooling system had been sorted. Minor early production quirks were long gone. What remained was a touring motorcycle that simply did its job without drama. According to long-term owner experience and mechanic consensus, the 2012 to 2017 years represent the most polished stretch of the 5th generation Goldwing. The engine runs smooth and steady at highway speed, rarely feeling stress even when loaded with passenger and luggage. That matters because low-stress engines live longer. Internal components aren't being pushed to their limits just to feel impressive. The shaft drive system remains one of the platform's strongest advantages. No chain wear, no constant adjustment, just consistent power delivery and reduced daily maintenance concerns. Over high mileage, that simplicity adds up. Another key factor is stability. These wings were built for real touring weight. The frame, suspension, and drivetrain were engineered to handle sustained load without developing the kind of long-term fatigue issues you see in lighter platforms pushed too hard. You also avoid the full electronic overhaul that arrived in 2018. These bikes give you modern reliability without modern overcomplexity. For many experienced Goldwing owners, this era is the sweet spot. Maximum refinement, minimal surprises. And the next generation proves Honda could modernize the wing without losing its long-haul reputation. Number 2. 2020 to 2023 GL 1800. This is where Honda proved it can modernize the Goldwing without repeating the mistakes of the past. The 2018 redesign introduced a completely new chassis, updated flat 6 engine architecture, ride-by-wire throttle, integrated electronics, and optional DCT transmission. And like most first-year overhauls, it had early refinement issues. But by 2020, those problems had largely been addressed. These later 6th generation models benefit from software updates, recall corrections, and real-world feedback. That matters because modern touring motorcycles live and die by electronics. Once those systems are sorted, reliability improves dramatically. The 1833cc flat 6 remains one of the smoothest engines in motorcycling. It produces strong, effortless torque without operating near its mechanical limits. That low-stress design is the foundation of long-term durability. Engines that aren't pushed to extremes simply last longer. The DCT transmission, once considered risky by traditionalists, has proven durable when properly maintained. It eliminates clutch wear and reduces rider-induced drivetrain stress. That consistency contributes to longevity over high mileage. These years also benefit from improved heat management and refined electrical systems compared to the first year of the redesign. Owners report stable performance, strong touring reliability, and fewer unexpected electronic issues. You're getting modern features, updated safety systems, and improved weight distribution, without the early adopter risk. If you want the newest Goldwing platform with the least uncertainty, this is the safest modern window. And number 1 on this list is the era that built the Goldwing's reputation so strong that even today, mechanics rarely question it. Number 1. 1993 to 2000 GL 1500. This is the era that cemented the Goldwing legend. By the early 1990s, Honda wasn't experimenting anymore. The GL15 platform had been in production long enough for early issues to be resolved, refinements to be applied, and weak points to be corrected. What remained was a fully matured touring motorcycle built around durability, not marketing. The 1520cc Flat 6 in these later GL1500 models is one of the most understressed engines Honda ever produced. It makes smooth, steady power without chasing high output numbers. That conservative tuning matters. Engines that aren't pushed to the edge don't develop edge of failure problems. They just accumulate miles. Mechanics routinely describe these late GL1500s as predictable. Not exciting, not fragile, predictable. Routine maintenance keeps them running. The carbureted setup is simple to service. The shaft drive eliminates chain maintenance and reduces drivetrain shock. The cooling system is robust. The electrical system is straightforward compared to modern platforms. Long-term owner patterns consistently show high mileage examples with minimal major engine work. These bikes were built during a period when over-engineering was normal, not optional. They are heavy, they are analog, they are not packed with modern electronics. And that's exactly why they last. If you want the Goldwing that built the reputation, the one that proves Honda can build a touring motorcycle that runs for decades, this is it. This is the foundation everything else was built on. That's the Goldwing years to avoid and the years that truly last forever. If you're shopping for a wing right now, this is the difference between buying peace of mind and buying someone else's repair bill. If this helped you, share it with someone who's about to pull the trigger on one. And tell me in the comments, what year are you riding and how many miles are on it?